So today I'm going to bring you the words of Jesus, which is very appropriate for Christmas Day. This was from an audiobook that I got, I think 2018. This impacted me quite significantly. But what I'm interested in is when I put this out, how does it impact you? You too may agree that this really is a message from Jesus to the population of the world. It comes from this particular book called The Soul's Gift by Robert Schwartz. Without further ado, let's move to the channeling of Jesus, who is known as Yeshua. Merry Christmas.
An introduction from Yeshua. My humanness. I am Yeshua. I am the one you have come to know as Jesus. In speaking through Pamela, I call myself Yeshua to mark the difference between the real, living me and the artificial image that has been created of me in history. According to this image, I was a man with superhuman abilities who had risen above human emotions such as fear and doubt. In truth, however, I was a human being like you in many ways. I found a way to connect deeply to my soul and to follow my inner guidance in life, but I went through intense inner struggles, just like you. Your cultural and religious traditions tend to deify me and push aside my human aspects. I tell you now that I was human. I am your brother, not far removed from the turmoil of earthly life, but deeply familiar with the challenges you face. It is my wish to reach out to you and to tell you that you can overcome your challenges, that you are a strong and powerful being, and that you are needed at this time in history. My life challenges. Yeshua explained, when I started my human life on earth, my soul knew that I was to bring in a new kind of consciousness, a consciousness to which many people, and certainly the political rulers of that day, were not open. It was my plan to be a public figure and to touch the hearts of like-minded souls. There was a group of people waiting to be awakened by my appearance on earth at that time. This group was meant to create an opening for Christ consciousness on earth. I could not fulfill the mission on my own. I depended on like-minded people to pick up my message and spread it across the world. Many of you hearing this book are part of this group of souls. Many of you were alive around that time. And on the soul level, you had made a vow to bring a new type of awareness to earth. You may call it Christ consciousness, or simply the awareness that we are one, connected by the same flow of life that holds the universe together and sustains all that is. Human beings are essentially the same, and it is this sameness that, if recognized, brings us together and enables us to reach out to one another with a sense of compassion and fellowship. This notion of oneness and equality was very alien to the society I lived in 2,000 years ago. People were strongly divided by race, religion, and social status. One of my greatest challenges was to face the injustices taking place around me and yet remain calm and focused. As a young man, I could easily get angry with the authorities. I had a passion inside me, a temper that could flare up like fire when faced with the unfair treatment of people. I had to learn to deal with that anger because it was central to my mission that I would awaken people's hearts. The heart is not awakened by anger, even if it is for a just cause. Behind anger, there is always fear. Fear means that you do not trust the natural flow of life and therefore feel vulnerable. When you become angry, you are really lashing out against your own vulnerability, which you do not want to face. More than anything else, the heart is awakened by forgiveness and trust, the opposites of anger and fear. To rise above my anger and fear, I had to go within, time and again, and feel that quiet place inside where all things are simple and clear. Yeshua continues, your greatest challenges are never about what other people do, but rather about how you respond. They are about whether you can accept, understand, and thus rise above the emotions that others' actions cause inside you. Spiritual growth is not about you changing the world. It is about going within and changing yourself. This was the case for me, just as it is for you. In making peace with the difficult human emotions of fear and anger, you rise above them and become trusting and forgiving of others. You recognize their oneness with you, and you release judgment. This is what I wanted to accomplish for myself. And in doing so, I touched the hearts of people who were also searching for love and compassion. Especially near the end of my life, I had to learn to trust and forgive in the midst of fear and hostility. My family and friends were fearful of what would happen to me. Some people were filled with hatred for me and were intent upon killing me. I had to remain calm amid this interplay of forces and keep the vibration of peace alive in my heart. In addition to dealing with anger, I had to face the challenge of loneliness in my life. Although I had a loving family and many dear friends, I had to face my most severe challenges alone. In my dying hour, I had to draw upon all my strength to remain focused on the energy of the heart, so as not to be overwhelmed by either the hatred or deep sorrow that were present in the bystanders. I had to rise above my physical and emotional pain and feel the truth that I was not dying on that cross, although my earthly body was. That my spirit had chosen this experience to evolve, and that by doing this, I would set an example for people who face the same challenges. You see, you are walking the same path I walked. You have been crucified in the sense that you have been faced with emotional extremes in your life, and in other lives as well. If you are drawn to this book and feel inspired by its message, you are aware that there is meaning behind the difficulties you experience. If you are open to the fact that you have chosen your life challenges, and if you are trying to find their meaning, then you have already gone beyond your initial reactions of fear, anger, and sorrow. You are now fulfilling your soul's mission. Your life challenges. Yeshua said, life challenges bring you to the core of your soul's mission, which is always to help you raise your awareness, release judgment, and create an ever wider space of compassion for yourself and others. The way in which the soul does this is different for each individual. Each soul creates the life path that offers the best possibility for experiencing the emotions it seeks to understand and make peace with. Life challenges generally run counter to your hopes and expectations. Although your soul planned them, they often do not feel like they are supposed to happen. On the contrary, they baffle and bewilder you. To the human part of you, who likes to stay in control of life, these challenges almost always feel like they are not meant to be. They seem to be unexpected, unjust, and too difficult to cope with. They generally evoke resistance, fear, confusion, and a sense of powerlessness. If you are in a deeply challenging situation right now, and you feel confused, upset, or powerless, realize that this is the most fearful part of you speaking to you. The challenge makes you aware of fear that was already inside you in order for you to address it. The fear comes to you so that you can put an arm around it like you would with a frightened child. The purpose of life challenges is to heal your inner child, the part of you that responds emotionally to life challenges and easily feels betrayed, frightened, or alone. When you become aware that emotions are like children that need to be reassured and caressed, the challenge will bring out your true strength rather than your weakness. It will awaken the power to heal yourself. That life challenges are planned by your soul does not mean that you are destined to experience all the fear and pain they might cause. You have free will. You can choose to overcome them. Instead of becoming suffocated by negative emotions, you can heal and transform your challenges. Ultimately, they are there to remind you of your greatness, not your smallness. Just as you are not your physical body, you are also not your human emotions. You are instead the soul experiencing these emotional states. You are the conscious carrier of your emotions, and you can use your consciousness to approach the most difficult emotions with understanding and compassion, rather than with fear and resistance. If you look at your challenges in this light, you may even become aware, generally after some time has passed, that they have been extremely valuable teachers for you. You may even thank your soul for putting them in your life path. The state of thankfulness in your heart shows that you have really understood the meaning of a particular life challenge. The peace you now feel in regard to the experience will enable you to help people who face similar challenges. You are teaching by example. This is your soul's mission as well. Yeshua continued, you are here on earth not just to help yourself, but also to make a contribution to humanity. Know that you are needed. Indeed, I need you to complete my mission. The purpose of my life was to introduce and pass on the Christ energy, which is larger than I, to people who would, in turn, pass it on to others. My arrival was meant to bring in the seeds of a new consciousness. You were meant to receive these seeds and let them blossom in your own heart, so that others would be touched by them in the same way. You are becoming Christs yourselves. The rebirth of Christ is nothing more than the birthing of heart-based consciousness within you. You are part of my mission. I needed you then, and I need you now to fulfill our joint mission. How do you recognize your contribution to humanity? How do you know what you are supposed to contribute? Understand that your contribution is never separate from your personal goals. The life challenges you face always lead you to the specific areas in which you can serve others. For instance, someone who lost a child has gone through the intense mourning process this evokes may, if this is the soul's mission, feel attracted to helping other parents deal with the loss of a child. The right people will cross their path to attract this kind of work to them. And as they do the work, they will feel joy and fulfillment, even if they are among people who are dealing with intense grief, anger, or loneliness. Your contribution to humanity has to do with what you love doing and would do naturally, even if you were not paid for it. This may change over the course of your life. There is a natural tendency in human beings to want to pass on to others the knowledge they have acquired at the level of the heart. Because when your heart is awakened, you more easily feel the connection between yourself and others, even humanity at large. If there is love in your heart, you will want to share your knowledge with others because this will make you feel even more joyful and loving. Often, the heart energy is awakened after going through a personal crisis. You have a saying, "What does not kill you makes you stronger." Life challenges, as discussed in this book, are like that. They seem to break you, but what they are actually intended to do is to break your self-created barriers of fear and judgment. If you allow crisis to purge these barriers, you invite a new consciousness into your life, one that will attract the right circumstances for you to fulfill your soul's mission. At this point in history, it is time for humanity to ascend to a new level of consciousness. It is time for humans to recognize their oneness, even if they are of different races, genders, or cultural backgrounds. This time is a time of crisis and of opportunity. The crisis your world faces in economics and ecology are due to a lack of heart-based awareness in these areas. Both the interactions among humans and the interaction with nature are often seen in terms of profit and personal gain. This is ego-based consciousness. I do not judge this type of consciousness. It has served a purpose, as all expressions of consciousness do. It is now time, however, to rise above ego-based consciousness. Earth is calling out for humans to reinstate the natural harmony between all that lives on the planet. The spirit of humanity is called upon to heal the wounds that centuries of fear, struggle, and separation have caused. The crises humanity is facing are to be solved, not by inventions of the mind like new technologies, but by the awakening of the heart, one human at a time. You are alive today because your soul wants to help humanity ascend to heart-based consciousness. It is by going through your own challenges and finding the opportunity within them that you contribute most to humanity's well-being. Your contribution is not so much what you do as who you are. It is your awareness that makes the difference. As more of you invite heart-based consciousness into your lives, it becomes easier for others to make the transition to a new way of being, at peace with themselves, humanity, and nature. Yeshua concluded, I call upon you to have faith. I tell you that you are not alone. You can face your life challenges and overcome them. You can be a teacher of heart-based consciousness and reach out to others in a way that feels joyful and fulfilling. Your life has meaning, and you are needed to make your unique contribution to the larger whole of which you are part. Recognize me as your brother and next of kin. I am here to help you, but I need your help as well. Join me, and let us together fulfill the old promise of a new earth.